Good afternoon, grade 8s. We're doing multiplication of, everything from integers and monomials to monomials with monomials, and then also polynomials with monomials. And yeah, that's as far as it goes. So, firstly, remember the rules for multiplying integers, where if it's a positive times a positive, you get a positive result, or a negative times a negative gives a positive result, and then a negative times a positive or a positive times a negative gives you a negative result. And then the exponent law for multiplication when you're multiplying variables would be that if you multiply by the same bases, then you add the exponents. Okay, division onto the next page. If you're multiplying integers or monomials by binomials and trinomials, etc. In other words, using the distributive property, and that means you're multiplying the number in front of the brackets by each term inside the brackets. So A is multiplied by B, gives you AB, and A is multiplied by C, gives you AC. Okay. So the method is just you multiply what's in front of the brackets by each term inside the brackets. So I'm going to start with the examples over here. It's going to be 4 times x firstly, and that gives you 4x, and then it's going to be 4 times negative 3, which is negative 12, and that's it. Just make sure if you had 2 terms inside the brackets that your answer will then have 2 terms as well. The next example, a is multiplied by b, gives you ab. Remember, if they're different variables, you just smack them together. And then a is multiplied by 5, positive 5, so that's positive 5a. Okay, is where you multiply negative 4x. It contains it has a little bit more body in it. So negative 4x is multiplied by 4x squared. So now remember, we have to multiply signs with the signs, numbers with the numbers with their special rules, normal number things that would be, and then the variables with the variables by the laws of exponents. So in the first one, negative 4x times 4x squared gives you negative 16, because remember you said negative times a positive is a negative, and then 4 times 4 is 16. And now for the variables, x times x squared, we're multiplying the same base, so the base x is being multiplied how many times? Once, and then 2 times in the brackets gives you to the power of 3. 1 plus 2 is 3. And then by multiplying with the next term, it's going to be negative 4x times negative 3. Firstly, the signs, a negative times a negative is a positive, and then the numbers. 4 times 3 is 12, and lastly, x times no variable remains x, and that's the answer. And then example D, the last example, x is being multiplied by 4x squared firstly, and that's just 1x. Remember, there's an invisible 1 over here, so it's 1 times 4 is 4, and then x times x squared, you add the 1 in the exponent in front of the brackets with a 2 inside the brackets, and then 1 plus 2 is 3. Then I'm multiplying x by x, so that's 1 times 1. We don't have to write that, but you may. 1 times 1 is 1. And then x times x, both having the exponent 1. 1 plus 1 gives you to the power of 2. And then last term is a positive times a negative this time, so the sign changes to a negative. And then 1 times 3 is 3. X times no variable in that term remains the x itself. That's all there is to it, really. If you're struggling with something, please do contact me and we can arrange a video call or something. I want you to do Spot on Mathematics Grade 8, Activity 8.2, the whole question 1, and then selected questions from 2 and 3. Have a great day, guys.